Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gatekeeping. My name is Robert and I am the host of this weekly, semi-weekly, every now and then podcast. Um, on this week's episode, this is the season finale of the series for now. So I thought it would be just perfect to have the most streamed guest of the season so far, and that would be Michael. Michael is from the Pub Play episode. So welcome back, Michael. Just a heads up, we have already recorded this episode before, and I had some audio difficulties on my part. So this is the second attempt at this episode. If you guys hear any audio problems, that's because I gave up and you're just getting whatever I got at this point. But how have you been, Michael? How was your day today?
Good. Worked all day today. I did like an 11 to 7 shift, but took care of my dogs before that, took care of them after that. So I feel like I've been working all day.
I know I didn't work as much as I thought I was gonna work. It's because a long story, but I ended up getting out of work earlier than I expected, but I still feel like I was at work all day. Yeah. But okay, we're gonna get right into the episode, and just trigger warning to begin the episode. We're gonna start talking about, of course, the shooting that just happened recently here in Texas, in Uvalde. How do you pronounce it? Uvalde, Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just happened just a few days ago. So if that's something that you would not like to hear about, then I would go ahead and click off here. And pause, or fast forward and see where we are, but because we are going to get into it, and I know that could be sensitive for some people because it is a very it's a very jarring topic to talk about. But so yes, recently, in like 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, there was a shooting here in Texas where a 18-year-old boy went into a school and shot some kids and some teachers. And I was reading up on it right now. So apparently he crashed his car into a ditch, or his truck, after he shot his grandmother, shot and killed his grandmother. Crashed the truck into a ditch. A man saw him, opened fire on the man. He missed, he didn't shoot the man. And then he ran to the school. And then, that incident happened. And I was reading it, and I was seeing stuff yesterday on Twitter and stuff. And like, normally I'm not when it comes to these kind of things, I've kind of become desensitized to it. But it's happened recently where you see these shootings and you see like innocent people that unfortunately didn't make it, and I'm reading their just things about them, and like it starts to get me, especially with these kids, because these kids, like, they don't know what's going on. It was just another day in school for them, and kind of their futures were kind of taken away from them and taken away from their parents. So like I was looking at stuff and I was like starting to cry because it's so sad.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I'm never going to be able to say that I can feel what those families are feeling right now. But reading the articles and news as it was coming out, I put myself back in elementary for that brief moment. And when you're that young, it is just another day of going to school and going to see your friends, and you're looking forward to going home because you don't want to be at school, and then to live in fear of something like that happening. And it's so frequent nowadays, whether it be theaters, schools, malls. It's horrible. Like, it is a horrible thing to keep reading about, and it feels like it's happening. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it feels like it's happening weekly. Like, there's always something going on every week, whether it be a murder or like a shooting, a school shooting, an elementary of all places. Like, I when I was broke, I couldn't even believe that it was an elementary school.
Yeah, the elementary school thing is what I really don't get, is because, again, these kids had whatever your issue was, or the shooter's issue was, like, that's, kids have nothing to do with that. Like why would you choose a school out of all things? Not to say that any other area would be any better, but like, these children are completely innocent in everything, and you would choose them, or choose that place to take it out on. It's just crazy. And then even more like gut wrenching, like, was yeah, like I said, like you see these kids and you see pictures of them and they're like baseball uniforms and their honor roll things. Because I was reading that for a lot of them, this was supposed to be that was supposed to be their last day of school for the year, and it's like that's crazy. Like a lot of them, yeah, they didn't want to be there in school, but like now they'll never get to go back to school. They'll never get to go to high school or anything. And then the teachers also, like that's so crazy. Like especially with everything that's going on right now, and I always see stuff about teachers and how hard they have it these days when it comes to like their job, just doing their regular job. So now to like put this on top of them, which is something they've been having to deal with in the past recent years, is like shootings and learning how to do like go through the protocols,
Mhm.
and like today, I don't know if it came out today or yesterday, but did you see that one of the teachers that did pass away, that her husband also just passed away from a heart attack?
Was it Irma Garcia?
I'm not sure on the name.
I know there was a lady, a teacher. I think her name was Irma Garcia. I read it on Facebook, I believe, that she was one of the teachers that put herself between the gunmen to save the kids, and she passed away. And when I read that, like that broke my heart. Like that is a bona fide hero in my book.
Yeah, it's so I'm guessing, I mean, obviously we'll never know, right? But I'm guessing the emotional toll of hearing that his wife had passed away, like in this incident, like I'm assuming it took a toll on him, like, and he had a heart attack and he passed away. He didn't make it either. Like that's even sadder because now you have another child left without both their parents because of this. One fatally shot and then the other one a heart attack stemming from that. It's crazy to me, like, and it brings up certain issues where, like, we have these discussions about gun control, especially here in Texas, which is, it's a red state, right?
It's a red
Like,
state.
yeah, and that's a issue that we've always had with the Republican Party, is that they're so gun-ho about, not, okay, wrong choice of words, but they're so adamant about their gun rights and not wanting anybody to take them away. But then we're constantly seeing instances like this, school shootings, public school shootings, and you have to, at some point you have to question, like, okay, well, what do we do?
Mhm.
And I don't, did you see Beto O'Rourke?
I heard
um
about it. I didn't see it, but I did hear about it. I did
yeah,
hear about
so they were doing a press conference, which was Abbott, and then the mayor from that town was there, and Beto, he got up and I saw the video, he spoke up, he's like, you're part of the reason that this is happening, and like, just blaming them really. And the mayor was saying how, like, telling him to sit down, yelling at him to sit down, that this wasn't the place for that. But it begs the question, because I was reading articles and I saw like an interview. I don't know if it was one of the parents there, um, but they were saying how that wasn't the place for that, and it was too soon to start politicizing this. But is it too soon to start politicizing it? I don't think it is politicizing. It's an issue. Like, it's an issue that we need to talk about.
it. We really do. I mean, what I don't understand is, and maybe it's just my point of view, but how can an 18-year old legally be allowed to purchase a firearm?
Well,
You know,
not even that. I haven't looked into it completely, but he had I thought I saw AR-14, like a big gun that was not, I don't think you can legally purchase that, if I'm not mistaken. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think that's something you could just go out there and legally purchase. So I don't know if he legally purchased that gun.
okay. I had read articles that he purchased it. Maybe the article is wrong,
Maybe he
but
did. I don't know.
even at that, it's so it fathoms me that things like that are so easy to get a hold of, especially in teenagers. Whether it be the parents' firearm or whatever the case may be. Like, what are we teaching the kids? Like, I get it. Like, health issues. I read health issues. I had read I think it was his mom that said, he never displayed any kind of like aggression or anything. Like basically, when I read that article, I was like, there is nothing you could say that changes what he did. Like whether you want to scream mental health illness, I get it. Whatever you want to say, you were minimizing what he did. That he took away kids from parents who thought in a few hours I'm gonna be with my child again.
Yeah.
He took the life
And
of teachers.
and that's another thing about like first of all, no regular citizen human needs that type of gun. There's no reason to own that type of weapon, period, like at all. So even at that, it's ridiculous. But also, I did see the argument about mental health, like because the Republican side of things, they're like, oh, this isn't a gun issue, this is a mental health issue. But and that may be true. It might be, mental health might be part of the discussion that needs to be had, but then it turns into a gun issue because that's a point that your access is so easy
Mhm.
to any type of person, people with mental health issues, people with anger issues, people that should not be having, with criminals, people that should not be having access to these weapons, but it's so easy because these laws have made it so easy to get to them,
Mhm.
or these lack of laws have made it so easy to get to them. So yes, mental health might be a topic that we need to touch on, but it's also still is a gun issue. And I don't want to tie it into it because like, again, because it's such a touchy subject, but it we cross lines where it's like these officials, these government officials are talking about mental health and how it's a mental health issue. But now they want to care about mental health issues, but they didn't care about mental health issues before when they're trying to pass laws like banning abortion. It wasn't a mental issue then. You're not caring about the mental health for these people. You
Mhm.
don't care about mental health when you're passing legislation against LGBT people in your state. It's not a mental health issue then. Only when it's a concern of you to keep your rights to weapons that now it's a mental issue. Now we want to care about mental health because our guns are going to be threatened to taken away.
But what makes it so much worse is, and like again, touchy subject or whatever, but the Republican Party cares when it's not a person of color. But
Yeah.
because I felt like this was, a white person or whatever, that they got the slap of the all mental health issues. Had this been somebody of color, a teenager of color, like let's say the cops would have shot him dead.
To be fair, I believe the boy was Latino, but he wasn't like brown complected. He was a white passing Latino.
Yeah. So I mean, it goes back to, you know, gun issues. It goes back to,
Not to be fair, I meant to clarify. I don't want to say to be fair because I'm not trying to justify anything.
I don't even know, like, honestly, Abbott needs to go. Abbott has been needing to go like
Yeah.
the longest time. When he sat there and said that the shooting could have been so much worse, how do you even, like, again, how do you minimize a situation where you have lost 4, 5, 6 year olds? Like, I don't understand. Like, if that was your child, would you sit there and would have like say something like it could have been worse?
Well, now, and speaking of if that was your child, I also don't know if you've been reading upon how people are upset at the police officers that were there on the scene, uh, because of how they handled the situation. Because it took an hour to shoot the boy, and then also after the boy was shot, or even while, because I read an article and where the officer admitted he was an off-duty border patrol agent, and in that article he admitted to it about how when they were going to, that he wasn't even, he was getting his haircut, and his wife texted him from the school. She's a teacher at that school, and she said there's an active shooter, like I love you, or she said there's an help, there's an active shooter, I love you, something like that. And so he left the haircut and he ran to the school. And when he got there, there was already officers there, like the team that they called for or whatever. Apparently, the police officers that were there called for help and backup and like special equipment and everything. So they were already there when he got there, and he helped with like trying to get the kids out. And even in the article, he said, I knew what wing, he's like, we made a plan with the other officers. And he's like, I knew what wing my daughter was on. So that's the wing I went to and started evacuating kids. And so the issue that I've been seeing on social media is that people, and not only stemming from this guy, but people were saying that they saw officers, like people were on standby waiting for their kids to be released to them, or but that they were seeing officers with their children, like they were escorting their children out. And it's like, well, that's not good for optics. Is like you're making them wait for their children or wait to hear anything about their children, but you made sure that your children are safe and secured, and you're not allowing for these people the same thing.
Yeah. And oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, I 100% agree with people like every child matters, but I'm very emotional. Like I'm an emotional person. So I feel like if I was a cop and my child was in that building, I think paternal instinct might kick in before my job duty. I mean, I'm not like I said, I don't think it's right. I don't agree with it. I'm just saying like I get both sides. Like I get your child's in there, there's police officers, but I also get like the paternal instinct is to save your child. I think it should have been handled differently. I think I don't know. I can't say I wouldn't have done the same. I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know. I can't like say yes or no. I'm gonna catch heat for that. But
I mean, no, I mean, it's true. Like, yeah, you probably, nobody will know until you're in that moment. And I think the issue is procedure mostly. But again, the biggest issue out of all of this is we need different legislation on gun control. And because if that was the case, then there would be a less chance of any of this happening. People's issue with the police not responding as well is another thing. I feel like even if the police were following procedure because they claimed that they didn't feel capable to handle the situation, so that's why they called, right? Or that's what I read on the article, that's why they called for help, and that's why it took so long. And it's like, well, if you're not capable of taking out this boy, you're a police officer, you have equipment, you should be prepared for this. That's an 18-year-old boy with one weapon, and you're not able to handle that. Like that's literally your job. And that's just kind of what is crazy to me also. It's like multiple police officers and you couldn't take care of it.
yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, so I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, and we need to do something about it. I don't think that Beto saying something during the press conference, I don't think it was too soon. I think that's the way people, that's the way it needs to be for people to react, because sometimes you need something very dramatic and there's a word for sensational to garner a reaction from people, and
Yeah.
sometimes it has to be like that, and sometimes it needs to be inappropriate for it to work. And yeah, and something's got to give. I feel like there's too much stuff going on in the US right now that I feel like people are getting tired, and I feel like something is going to happen soon. Like there's too much inflation, the housing situation, wages, like the resignation issue, then the shooting stuff. It's like it's too much, and I feel like it's a pot that's about to like boil over.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. I definitely agree.
So I don't but Texas is just a mess. But Abbott, and then I think what's his name? The guy that went to when we are dealing with the freeze the other year and he went on vacation.
Oh,
Ted Cruz.
yeah.
All these governors, all these government officials, they just need to be cleared out. Like there's too many minorities that live in Texas for that to be who's representing us. I mean, I know Ted Cruz is he's some percentage of Latino, but that's not representative to us. And I feel like something just needs to change in that whole situation.
I mean, I would love to say sooner rather than later because I mean, I had read, I think I was on Google earlier and something about Donna ISD closed down because they were dealing with a gun threat. And it's just like, how do we go from a school shooting 2, 3 days ago to now Donna closing down because of another threat, a gun threat? Like
Yeah.
closer and closer to home, it's happening more frequently. It's got to stop. Like it has to stop.
Yeah, and it definitely doesn't help that these schools are already struggling as it is to support themselves when it comes on an education basis, let alone. And now, they're just coming off of COVID. They're just coming off of having to deal with that and those special circumstances. And now, and I've heard it from different people how like the energy with the kids is different right now because they haven't been in school for almost 2 years. They were online only, so they've been struggling a lot with this, and then also with their issues with not being paid enough or not enough funding and stuff like that. So it's just a lot. So um I was gonna say send your thoughts and prayers to these people, but a lot of people are saying keep your thoughts and prayers. Like that's not what we need at the moment. We need
Yeah.
we need something else. It's not working anymore. So yeah, it's a tough subject, and hopefully something happens soon, like you said, sooner or later, because enough is enough.
Yeah. It's too much. It's way too much. I don't even want to think about it. I mean, I'm a person who, I want nothing more but then like to have my own kids. And then you hear news like this, and it's like, at what cost? Like, I have to worry as a parent going to work that I'm sending my kid to school to get an education, and God forbid I get a notification that there's an active shooter or something going on in that school, a bomb threat, whatever the case may be. It's like, how do you protect your child? How do you trust that you're bringing your child into the world when the world is, for lack of better words, going to complete shit? Like,
Yep.
no parent should have to worry about that.
Yeah, and then we have all these other countries just laughing at us, basically, like,
Mhm.
because at this point it is true, like we are a laughing stock. I feel like a lot of people might not like this, but I feel like we've been brainwashed to believe that America is just this amazing place. And yes, it is amazing in some senses. Like, yes, we do have more opportunities in other countries and stuff like that, but in some ways, we're not doing so great, and like a lot of other places are excelling in those areas. So hopefully things change and we start seeing improvement, especially here in Texas. Especially with more people coming to Texas, like the population is starting to increase because people are trying to escape from, like, not escape, but people are coming from like California and New York, because it even though it might be rent and real estate might be getting more expensive, it's still cheaper than those areas. So
Yeah.
more people are coming in here. So hopefully that influx of people will cause like some change when it comes to elections and all that.
You just gotta go blue.
Yeah, everybody. And I need to do better about that myself. I need, not about voting blue, but like I need to be better about voting for in local elections, because I only tend to do the big ones and not the local ones. So I need to be better about that. I need to educate myself more.
For sure, for sure.
But moving on to a lighter topic, because I know that was pretty dark. When we tried to record this episode last time, the subject of the podcast was going to be Pride, because this will be the last episode that I record before Pride, and Pride Month is in a few days in June. So for the rest of this episode, we're going to be doing a Pride segment. So I wanted to start off with we're going to do some activities, because last time it was just a bunch of talking, and I had said I wanted it to be a little bit fun and stuff. And afterwards, I realized that we just talked. It wasn't really fun. Like there wasn't. So we're going to do some activities. So did you know? I mean, I'm sure you did know, but did you know that the Pride flag, every single color stands for something different?
Yeah, isn't it like gay, lesbian,
No,
transgender?
no.
Oh,
That would be too easy. No, it's not. That's not what it stands for. So
okay.
yes, every individual color stands for something. I don't know. I don't know if the creator did this. I was looking at the stuff right now, but I didn't read too much into it. But yes, every single thing stands for something. So I'm gonna just give you some of the colors and let's see. Just take a random guess. But that's not the game. I'll get to the game right now.
Okay.
But um, what do you think the color yellow stands for?
Joy, happiness, way up.
It's a similar. I mean, you're close. So it stands for sunlight.
Sunlight.
Yeah, sunlight. I don't know.
Okay, okay, I can see that.
Um, do you know what the color blue stands for?
Don't tell me the sky.
No, even weirder.
Clouds.
No,
Okay, what is it?
it stands for harmony.
Interesting. Okay, okay. Sunlight,
Uh,
heart.
yeah, and we'll do one more. Do you know what the color orange stands for? I don't know
Uh,
why I'm asking you, do you know? Because obviously you don't know.
um, peace. I don't know. Is it close?
Close. It stands for healing.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say unity at first, and then I went with peace. But
Surprisingly, there's no unity. But I mean, I guess harmony. Harmony would be a synonym for unity. But do you know all the colors of the pride flag? Let's
uh,
start there.
here,
Oh well, yeah, you have the shirt on.
I'm not gonna look.
Okay.
Red, yellow, green,
Uh-huh.
blue, purple, orange, white.
No, there's no white. But you there's
White.
only six. You had them all. It was red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. And then now
Okay.
obviously we've added the brown, black, and pink, blue, and white lines to represent trans people and um the BPOC brown, what does it stand for? BIPOC, brown indigenous people of color. That's what
Yeah.
the black and brown stands for. But there also used to be a hot pink in it, and it stood for sex. And there also used to be a turquoise that stood for magic. So that's interesting. Like all of these are interesting. Like what does this have to do with anything? But the first activity is going to be we're going to play a little association game.
Mm.
So we're going to use the colors of the flag, the base colors. We're not going to include like the black, brown, the new added ones. We're just going to do with the red, orange, yellow, green. Not problematic, just to simplify things. So
Okay.
we're going to choose the color, and I want you to name something gay related, or not only gay related, right? Queer related, LGBT related, to do with that color, but it has to be something that's like iconic, like it, like it's very rooted in gay culture and LGBT culture.
Okay. Okay. I will
You
do my best on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you understand the instructions?
Yeah, I have a few in my head, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, so we're gonna go through all six of them. So with the color red, name something in the LGBT community that is red and or related to red.
So I would have to list Taylor Swift's album Red. Like that is iconic in
Oh,
itself. Like
I that's like I feel like that's a reach. Like
that is a I would say queer iconic album.
okay, yeah, that's queer. That's iconic and queer to you because you're a queer and it's iconic to you. I don't think I don't nobody drag me for this, but I don't think Taylor is a gay icon.
Um, maybe not gay icon, but I feel like I mean a lot of her fan base I would say is like LGBTQIA members. At least from what I saw at Love Buzz that night at like Taylor night. Um, very
Well,
queer.
the gays go out for any reason to celebrate. It doesn't.
That is a good Taylor album.
Okay, well, I'll let the listeners drag you for that one.
I
Um,
know, right? But
Orange. Name something orange related to the LGBT.
oh my god. I don't know why he came into my mind, but I would say Frank Ocean.
Oh
I don't.
yeah,
I,
because of his album.
yeah, like Frank Ocean was the first thing that popped into my mind.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good one. I would have never thought of that. I was thinking either Halloween because of the
Oh,
pumpkin, or I was thinking Miss Frizzle, which Miss Frizzle is not relatively gay, but I feel like she is a gay icon.
he is a gay icon.
I feel like if you were gay, you'd loved Magic School Bus.
Oh yeah, her earrings always highlighted the episode.
Just she was a fashion icon, and the I just think of that meme where they're like, "Girl, that's a booty hole," even though,
I love that fucking video.
yeah, okay. Yellow. Name something LGBT related to yellow.
Oh man. Oh. Oh my god.
I know yellow's a little hard.
Um, I can't think of anything. You might have to help me on that one. Listeners, if you guys have something, please drag me for being a horrible gay.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I can't think of anything yellow related either. So maybe we'll come back to it. If we can think of anything, we'll come back to it. Uh, green. Name something green related to the LGBT.
Jennifer Lopez's Google dress.
Yeah, I would say I would. Yeah, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. She was for you, those of you that don't know, J Lo is the reason why we have Google Images today. That she wore her green Versace dress, and it was so popular that they created Google Images for people to look up that image.
Yep.
So, for those of you that love to hate on Jennifer Lopez,
Gay iconic moment.
she's an icon.
Oh yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think of something green. I can't really. The first thing that came to my mind is money, and I don't see how that's specifically related to gay people, except for like when you tip drag queens or you tip go-go boys and you put the dollars in there.
We love to go shopping.
Yeah, gays are obsessed with what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. It was on the tip of my tongue. Like material things, material girl. Blue. Name something blue that's LGBT related.
Holy hell. Blue's Clues. I don't know why. I don't know why.
I mean, blue. Let's start there. Blue. I feel like blue is a gay icon because did you know that blue was
Female.
female? Yeah, that like she's blue and that's a boy color, and we grew up thinking he was a boy and it's a girl actually. I also always thought Steve was gay, and I don't think
so
he.
too.
Yeah, but I don't think he is actually.
No, I don't think he is either, but I really thought he was, well, eh.
But yeah, I mean that's a good one. Blue. What else? What else could be blue? I would say
Mm,
the prep pill. If you're one of those gays, the prep pill. Discovery is blue. I don't know what the other ones are.
here you go. I didn't think about that one.
That's a pretty.
For the power bottoms, it would be like the little douche, the ones you buy at the store.
Is it blue?
I have one. I have some that are blue.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
I do have some that are blue.
The more you know.
Right.
All right. So the last one is purple. Name something purple that is gay related.
Lady Gaga's outfit when she performed "Rain on Me" with Ariana Grande.
I when at the VMAs.
Yes, she went into like a purple suit, and it was perfect, and the performance was perfect, and it was iconic. That's something I can watch over and over and over again and never get tired of.
I don't remember that. I mean, I remember the performance. I just don't remember that the outfit was purple.
I think it was like black or something, and then she switched on stage, and it looked purple. It looked purple to me. Maybe that was Ariana's dress. One of them was in purple.
Purple. I don't know what I would think of when it comes to purple. The first thing that came to my mind was Barney, but Barney's not gay related.
Prince, maybe because of Purple Rain.
Oh, yeah, Prince. Even though I don't think Prince was gay. He might not have been gay, but he was definitely like that was it definitely gave off queer vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I could see that happening. And then what something else came to my mind and then I don't remember. Purple.
Eggplant.
Um, well, if you want to go that way. But yeah, I would say Prince. Prince is probably the best one, even though he's not gay. It's just it definitely is queer, so that's a good good one to go with. So speaking of colors, we in the episode that recorded that won't be seen by any audience, we talked about how pride parades originally started, when they were started because there was an incident at Stonewall and that caused kind of like a riot and a protest. And Stonewall was this, if I'm not mistaken, which I could be, was either a hotel or a club that like people would go to, and it was kind of like a gay hideout kind of thing because you had to do everything in secret. Police found out about it and they went in and raided it, and that caused like this big commotion. So back in the day, people used to use, and there's still some events I'm pretty sure that they do it, but people used to use hankies, which are handkerchiefs that would signify different things. So different color handkerchiefs meant different things. I don't know if you knew about that.
I remember we touched base on that the last what we recorded. Yeah. And we do do it nowadays as well. Different colored harnesses mean different things as well.
Oh, really?
I know that myself. I just thought like it's a fashion statement kind of thing, like you match it with your clothes or whatever. But no, I was reading up on some stuff, and yeah, the harnesses stand for different things that you may be looking for in that moment. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. So, well, I knew about the handkerchief, but I did not know about like the harnesses. But real quick, I'm just gonna name some off. Name some of what these stand for. So, if you have a black handkerchief or hanky, it means you're an heavy SM top. I don't know what SM stands for.
Heavy.
Maybe submissive. Not sure. If you are using a gray, you're a bondage top. But also apparently if you wore them, so I'm looking at a picture right now, and if you wore them on the left and you wore them on the right, they meant different things. So like the gray, if you wore it on the left, you're a bondage top. If you wore it on the right, you're fit to be tied. So I guess you're the one that wants to be tied, not the one that wants to tie people up.
Interesting.
Red, if you wear red on the left, you're a fist fucker. If you wear red on the right, you're a fist fuck e. If you yellow, obviously we know probably what yellow is. Yellow, if you wear it on the left, you are a pisser, water sports. And if you wear it on the right, you're a piss freak, which I'm assuming that means you're the one that wants to get peed on.
Yeah.
Right, which we could tell from yellow. But so last time you were on the podcast, we did a game of this or that.
Yes.
That was a very different game from a different version of the game that we're about to play. So while we're talking about the hanky code, we're going to be talking about this or that when it comes to kinks. So I've chosen some kinks, and you're going to say which one you would rather participate in.
Okay.
So your first choice is this or that: bondage or fisting.
Oh boy. If I'm having to be tied up, I would go with bondage. If I'm
No specifics. It's either it's which one in any way, shape, or form. Either you're the one tying, or you're the one being tied up, you're the one fisting, or you're the one being fisted. Either or, which one would you rather participate in?
Oh, okay, I'll go with bondage.
Okay, I feel like that's the safest option to go with. Did you say what about me?
No, I said right.
Oh, okay. I thought you said what about me? Water sports or spitting?
Water sports.
Interesting. I feel like most people would have gone with spitting just because it's a little more natural.
I know people are going to be like, ew.
I mean, okay, this one I don't think I saw this one on the list, but I decided to add it in there because I know it is something that people are into. This or that, tickling or hitting.
Hitting.
But like how aggressive of hitting?
I mean, like, don't break my bones or anything, but you want to leave a mark, like, go for it. Like,
Like, okay, obviously we know people slap and smack sometimes during sex, but there's this video I've seen. I don't know. I'm sure you have. Maybe you've seen it on Twitter, where there's two guys hooking up, and this guy is like punching him, like he punches him in the back.
shit.
Like, but it's part of the. Well, there's one where I saw where they're doing that, and the guy was fine with it. Then I saw another one where the guy was not fine with it, and like he reacted like cut that out, but right, but they still continued. But do you mean like punching like that, or do you mean just like smacking and slapping?
Yeah, like smacking. Like, you want to slap me in the face, cool with it. Like, obviously, you want to slap the ass, turn it red. I'm cool with it.
But
You
no
punch,
punching.
I'm gonna react. I'll probably be like, bro, what was that? But yeah, like hitting, biting, I'm okay with that.
Okay. The next one, which I think on this one we might have touched on. I don't remember what we did for this or that last time. I know it wasn't this, but I think we might have talked about this one of these. But this or that, feet or armpits?
Feet.
Really? I think armpits was the one we talked about last time.
Yeah, I think we talked about the pit play or something like that. Personally though, I would go with feet. I love feet. Like,
I'm way too ticklish
to have your feet like.
I can't even when I was younger. Also, feet low-key gross me out. Like my mom or my grandma used to ask me like, oh, massage my feet, and it grosses me out. I don't want to touch anybody's foot. I don't know why. And if I do it, it's because I'm forcing myself to do it. Like, but inside I'm gagging.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to touch mine either, because I'm ticklish, and two, even that kind of grosses me out a little. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I don't think it's that weird. It's probably more natural than.
Fair.
Yeah. But yeah, those are all the activities I have planned that I thought of. I felt like they were good and informational. You learned some things. You learned what the colors of the flag stood for, and then you also learned about the handkerchief, the whole handkerchief thing.
I went to go get myself a yellow one. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't.
Do you have a yellow harness?
I unfortunately do not. I only own a black leather harness. I want to expand the wardrobe. I do own two pup masks. One of them is red. The other one is pink. I don't know where they are right now because I'm in the process of moving. But
I feel like not bondage, but harnesses are like gay uniform for Halloween and for Pride. Like, there's so many harnesses. I wish the gays would be more creative when it came to Halloween. I'm tired of seeing them just like, I mean, live your life. If I had the body, I would probably do the same thing. But like, if you're gonna do a body thing and show off your body, then I want to see you be as creative as possible with it. I don't want to just see you like being a shirtless cowboy or something like that.
yeah, I think this last Halloween I was like a purge baseball player.
I feel like that's a very cop out costume.
Well, to be fair, I had three costumes. I was Spider-Man without his mask for one of them. Then I went as a Slytherin because I love Harry Potter and I am House of Slytherin. And then the third outfit was the costume was the Purge baseball player. Like,
So obviously I said the Purge costume is it's a cop out, but I also have an issue with the Spider-Man costume, not because of costume itself, but
yeah,
I'm so sick, especially on Twitter. I'm so sick of seeing the gays put on these spandex suits. Like, I see so much of the Spider-Man ones, Superman, all that. Like, is that really attracting people to their OnlyFans? Because like,
I mean, I haven't subscribed, but I'll look at like the previews on Twitter. Some of them are they're pretty. I did see this video. I think it was somebody dressed as Spider-Man and somebody dressed as Venom.
Oh my
And
God.
I was like, that's kind of, I'll never look at Marvel the same.
Well, even in the comics, I feel like there's always been like
Spider-Man and Deadpool.
Spider-Man and Deadpool, Spider-Man and Venom. There's always been like gay undertones with the way they interact with each other. And I really like what's the actor that plays Venom?
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. I think he's like my celebrity crush,
So hot.
especially because I think he has a little gay in him. You ever saw those
I,
pictures?
I think he admitted to actually trying it out or something like that.
Yeah. But I think he said it wasn't for him, which to each their own, I guess.
Just wasn't the right person.
Speaking of Marvel, do you keep up with that?
The MCU?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So last time I on the solo episode, which nobody watched, I talked about how tired I am of hearing about Multiverse of Madness because it's all I hear about on my TikTok.
Oh yeah.
How did you feel about it?
I loved it. I loved every moment of it. Um, Elizabeth Olsen has my heart till I die. Perfection. I love her. I love Scarlet Witch.
So I had heard about this aspect of the movie way ahead of time and I just forgot about it. I completely forgot about it. But then watching the movie, I was kind of shocked and I was like, I love this. So Sam Raimi was the director who he directed the original 3 Spider-Man from Sony with Tobey Maguire. But he's also like a horror director. So I had heard long time ago that this movie was going to have some themes from horror movies put into it. And I completely forgot about it. And then I started watching it. I was like, I really, really like the horror aspects that they took from this. Like when Wanda was, spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, when Wanda was crawling out of the mirror, like the grudge coming out of the TV, the chase scene through the dam, like the underwater thing, that was scary as hell.
She came up behind Professor X. Like everything was just like,
Oh,
oh, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
let's talk about that scene. I know I said I'm sick of it, but I want to talk about it. I feel like that was going into this, we heard there were going to be so many, like I heard like Tom Cruise was going to be in it because originally he was cast for Captain, no, Iron
Uh,
Man, one of those. Yeah, they were going to cast him for Iron Man, so they were going to put him in here as Iron Man, and they were just going to have a bunch of different cameos from people that were not related to the MCU. We kind of got that. We got Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel because in the comics, or Monica was the one that went with Carol Danvers, and obviously Carol Danvers was the one that got hit by the energy. But so that's part of the what if world where what would have happened if Monica got hit with it instead. So in this universe, she's Captain Marvel. Um, we got what's his name as Reed Richards.
John Chris, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, John Krasinski. Because he was a fan favorite. Like everybody wanted him to play Reed Richards, and so we got him in it. We got the guy from Inhumans, Black Bolt,
Apple.
who that one, sorry, there's like a bug. Black Bolt was the one I was more shocked to see because he was from the Inhumans TV show that I had heard Kevin Feige hated and he didn't even want to happen. And I was surprised to see him there because I thought that they would never be like included in the MCU at all. Obviously, he was murdered. Then we got Captain, what's her name? It's not Captain America. She has a different name.
Yeah, Peggy Carter.
Yeah, so Agent Carter, or yeah, Agent Carter, but she has a different name when she's in that costume. I just don't remember what it is. It's like Captain something also.
Yeah.
She was there also. And then obviously Professor Xavier. But how did you feel about that whole fight?
Um, I mean, as a Wanda, Scarlet Witch, Elizabeth fan, I wanted her to fuck them up. But story wise, it was just It was brutal, like just brutal. I mean, Black Bolt's death was, it took me by surprise the way they did it. And then to witness her not even single-handedly, because if you think about it, she possessed herself in order
Yeah.
to do what she did. So, which is crazy in of itself. Um, but as a fan, I was shocked too, because it's like, okay, I didn't expect that many to go down the way they did and as quickly as they did. Although shout out to like Monica and Peggy, because they did put up a fight.
Even though and speaking to that, Peggy would not have survived. She would have been the first one dead.
Yeah.
I don't like that they kept her alive so long, because that's not realistic at all. She would have been out the first time. I honestly, that fight was as iconic as it was to see the characters. I felt it was a little underwhelming
Mhm.
on both parts of it, like on Wanda's part and on their part. Especially how Reed Richards was just killed instantly, just shredded, and like
I
that was ridiculous. And then obviously Black Bolt with the mouth thing. It's just like, and then Wanda, also Professor Xavier. I don't think Professor Xavier would have been taken out like that, first of all. And then second of all, Wanda, and that one of my issues with the whole movie was that Wanda, I wanted to see her like go, she did go crazy, but I wanted to see her powers like, I really wanted to see her go crazy. Like, and I felt like I didn't get that as much. We got emotional crazy, but I don't feel like we got power crazy. Like,
I feel like we did though, just like, so going into the movie, I had heard like, oh, she's gonna be the villain, she's gonna be the villain, she's gonna be the villain. I kind of had other, I guess, hopes. I was hoping she was not gonna be the villain. But when you opened up in the first 10 minutes and it just like introduced her as a villain right away, it caught me by surprise. Even though I knew like it was being talked about, I was like, there's no way. Like she's gonna do like a 180 and she's gonna team up with Strange and help him. And to see at the very beginning that that was never her intention. Like she had manipulated the whole world around her in order to hide the Darkhold
mhm.
from even Strange himself. Like if you notice, like he's watching her like in a house or like a cabin, and there's trees everywhere, and she switches her magic, and it's just decimated.
Yeah.
There's nothing around her, and then she goes to confront Strange and everybody for America Chavez, and she's single-handedly like warping people's minds, breaking open the shield, and she decimates the hell out of them. And maybe it does have to do with like the crazy power, but she's powerful. Like I don't know, like
And you brought up another character who was also disappointing to me, was America. As much as we love representation and I love seeing like a Latina up on the screen and her lesbian mothers,
uh,
I felt like it was so like, I felt like she was just unnecessary. It was just a plot point.
mm,
Like she was just a tool. And I felt like she wasn't really necessary. I felt like her power was cool to watch. I love seeing the stars, like when like, and eventually when she did learn how to use it and she would punch and the star came out. Like I
yeah,
thought that was really cool. But other than that, the character itself was, I felt like with her, there was no character development or
yeah.
anything.
She was very underwhelming for her MCU debut. Very,
Yeah.
um, but kind of going back to that, I kind of hope that when she sent Scarlet Witch back to where she saw her boys, and obviously the other version of her, I can't remember the Earth's number at the top of my head, but I was hoping for a fight between Scarlet Witch and Wanda Maximoff in that moment. Like,
Well, I heard that the reason why, so okay, so with that whole battle, I also heard, which that goes counteracts to my point, was the fact that like I wanted to see her go crazy with that battle. So they said that the reason when she was possessing that Wanda, that Wanda would not be as strong as Scarlet Witch because she is not Scarlet Witch. So apparently there's only one Scarlet Witch in any place, like in any universe, in any multiverse, there's only one. She's the only Scarlet Witch in all of the multiverses. So like nobody's going to be as powerful as she is,
yeah.
besides they're called Nexus beings.
Mhm.
So besides other Nexus beings, they're going to be the only ones to step up to her, and so I don't think that Wanda would have survived really,
That's true.
because she wouldn't have been the Scarlet Witch. But everybody's saying how they think that, I don't think it's true, which that's another thing that I hate that they did, because like there should be repercussions to that battle, because Reed had his wife and his children, because like Reed's child, Mr. Fantastic's child, is like super powerful also. He's like crazy powerful. And so that family, and then you had the Inhumans partners and stuff, and then the X-Men. So like there would be in that, if that was an actual thing, which I mean it happened, there would be repercussions to those actions. But I don't want to see those repercussions. Like I don't want to see an X-Men from another multiverse. I want
Yeah.
this universe's X-Men.
Yeah, I think that's what they're heading towards. Because even when Professor Xavier showed up on screen, like you could hear the '90s X-Men
Yeah.
playing. So I think they're slowly building up to it. I think we are gonna ultimately see the repercussions of that battle, and I think when we do, it's gonna be right up there with how Endgame and Infinity War went. Like it's gonna be amazing. I think what they're building up to is the invasion, the secret invasion.
Well, so yeah, that's what everybody thought to begin with, but apparently not. Apparently they're just, because Secret Invasion is getting their own show, so it's getting a Disney Plus show, and everybody thought that's what we were headed to, that was going to be the big storyline. But apparently the big storyline that we're going to now is Secret Wars, which is uh different people from different multiverses come into this universe, and pretend to be that person. So that starts like a war, because nobody knows who is who, or who's the actual one from that universe. So that starts like a battle. So apparently that's the storyline we're going into. But I don't know, because another issue that we've had is that people are complaining that it's not very connected anymore. Like back then, you know how everything, which then again, back then it took 10 years also. So it takes time.
You didn't have the whole multiverses being explored in those movies. Like it was all linear, so of course everything was going to connect. And I honestly believe like everything right now it still connects. Like it's like
Yeah.
you had the Inhumans TV show, you had the What If episodes being brought in, you had everything being touched upon. Like it is very connected still. Maybe not so much so the way Phase 1 through 4, 1 through 3, or 1 through 4 was, because like I said, it wasn't exploring the multiverse like this is. So it is going to jump around, but it is going to connect in the bigger scheme of things.
Yeah. And I think even though we don't see it now, when it does come down to that final moment, I think they're going to show us like, oh, you didn't think anything was connected, but in actuality, it was connected.
Yeah, 100%.
So and so speaking of the MCU upcoming, just gonna wrap things up. Upcoming projects. So our next movie that we're getting is Thor, Love and Thunder. Are you excited about that?
Hell yeah, I can't wait.
Do you know the storyline they're going with?
They're bringing in Gore the God Butcher, and it is going to be introducing Natalie Portman as Thor. I really want to see what's going to happen there, like how she obtained
So
here. Like,
do you want me to tell you what happens comic wise, which is the possible story that you're gonna see?
yeah, what happens comic wise?
Okay, so she isn't Thor. She is, so it's a handle. She is the mighty Thor, and she has cancer. So while she is in possession of the hammer and the costume and everything, it's given her the strength and the power, right? But whenever she puts it down and she takes it off, she goes back to her cancerous state as a human. So and it's terminal. She's dying, but the only thing that'll keep her alive is that the hammer and like the being the mighty Thor. So
Yeah,
they haven't showed it in the previews, which I'm guessing they're not going to, because that's such a like massive point. Then they're trying to keep it away from the audiences, but that's what happens in that storyline of the comics when she becomes the mighty Thor. Because like, did you see the most recent trailer that we just got?
I did. Yes.
So where Gore is saying like, you're different from all the other gods I've killed or whatever. So there's speculation that he's not talking to Thor, he's talking to Natalie Portman. Yeah.
She got buff. God damn.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Buff.
Because she's normally very skinny.
Mm-hmm.
But I am excited for that. I'm excited because I love seeing I know people hated Captain Marvel, but I love seeing the female superheroes. Like, I love it. Like that scene in Infinity War where all the girls and they're like, and everybody was like, oh, this is just to like please the that type of people. But I really love that scene.
Me too.
And I love like this is MCU, but Wonder Woman, when I saw the first Wonder Woman and she was walking through the valley of death or whatever it's called, like that shot where she's just walking straight through it, I cried because I felt like it was such a it's just major moments in movies. Like that was Wonder Woman in particular, that was the first female superhero that we saw like on the screen. So like that was such a major moment for a group of people that didn't get that representation before. But now we're getting that more in the MCU. So we have, like I said, Love and Thunder coming out. Then when it comes to Disney Plus, we have Miss Marvel coming. We just got the trailer for She-Hulk, which that's the one I'm more excited about, is She-Hulk. Because that brings in Daredevil, because She-Hulk is a lawyer and Daredevil is also a lawyer. So it's rumored that he will be in the show as well.
Well, I kind of freaked out when he was in No Way Home.
Yeah, I had already heard that he was going to be in it, so I was expecting it. But yeah, it was a good. I like that they threw him in there, and I even like now that so all those characters, all the Netflix shows from Marvel are now all canon in the MCU. So like Daredevil and Jessica Jones, which I really love Jessica Jones also, now they're canon too.
Yeah. I need to catch up. There's some that I haven't seen.
Yeah, there's some I didn't. Honestly, I haven't been watching all the Disney Plus shows either, so it's whatever. But I do need to watch them. I want to watch Moon Knight because I saw some cool things from that as well, but I haven't watched it.
I heard Moon Knight was really good. I haven't seen it. The last one I saw was Hawkeye.
I didn't watch Hawkeye. I have no interest in anything related to Hawkeye.
No, I just love it because I knew there was going to be fallout with the whole like Natasha Romanoff being dead and of course her sister wanting revenge. So I had to see it for that plot point alone, and it delivered.
I might watch it just for what's her name in I don't know what her name is. The new Black Widow. Florence Pugh.
Yeah, Florence Pugh.
Her. I love Black Widow also, the movie. Even I know a lot of people did not care for it, but I really liked it.
Love that movie.
I might separate this from the episode just because some people might not want to, and it also is probably running long, so I might separate it into its own section.
Okay.
But I'm gonna wrap it up here. Michael, thank you again for being on the podcast for the second time as our returning guest. Maybe next time I start out the podcast again with the new season, I'll have you on again just as your recurring role as the top streamed artist. I mean, not artist. I'm sorry.
No.
Yes. I'm sure this one, and especially now that we're visual also, I'm sure the streams and the watches are going to be just as big as the last one. So again, thank you for being on. Do you want to go ahead and plug yourself?
Yeah, should I hold my socials up to the camera? I'm just kidding.
Oh, you can.
I don't know if it'll show. Hold on. My Instagram is, I think it's the @ Mike _Wazowski95. Let me see if it'll even show with my camera. Can you see it?
Yeah, you can see it.
Okay,
and if
so
for the non-visual people, I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, and then not my Snapchat, obviously. I would never give out my Snapchat. But that is the Twitter. Can you see it?
Yeah, barely, but we can see it.
All right, that's the Twitter. Just those two, because I don't use Facebook, and I'm not gonna give out my Snapchat, but I'm still pretty active on Instagram more than anything. So,
all right, so there you go, guys. Follow him on Instagram. Once again, guys, this will be the last episode for a while, and so I'm gonna try to get a new setup so I can get a better So it won't be looking like this for the next time. So it'll be maybe a few weeks before you get another episode. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video. And if you're streaming on Spotify, go ahead and rate the podcast because it does help with algorithms. And I will see you guys whenever the next time is.
Yes. Bye.